Hey everybody, this is my 55-gallon Gourami tank, and today we're going to do a water change and a before and after video. It's not going to be anything super complicated. I'm still in the process of working on my little project. You can probably hear the water gurgling. So in order to shoot any video in this room at the moment, I kind of have to shut all that down so that there's no glare on the tank and it won't give away the surprise. So this video is just going to be a simple before and after water change video, and then that way I can get back to working on my project. And I promise within just another, within the next week or so, we should be getting some public video of it. I have been putting some video out on my Patreon channel for people that want to see some behind the scenes and watch the progress as it's unfolding. I have been shooting video documenting the process as it's unfolding, so after the big reveal, we'll get a little bit of a look at my creative process of what I went through while I sort of put this little thing together. So in the meantime, I have to stick to these sort of basic type videos, and basically the reason I chatted about all that was to give you a nice long look at the before picture of the tank. I got a lot of plants in there. I got Water Sprite floating on the left. That's going to get really seriously thinned out, and then that'll let a lot more light in. And on the right, I've got at least one of the leaves from the Red Tiger Lotus has made it to the surface and is now floating on the surface. And even the ones that haven't, a lot of really big broad leaves have come up. So I don't think I'm going to thin them out too much. I do want the plant to be able to absorb lots of light. It was kind of struggling. I really trimmed it back hard last time. And so I think I want to leave some of those leaves, no pun intended, intact for the time being. You can think of the leaves of a plant as its solar panels, and that's basically where it's got to get its energy. So if I keep chopping those big, broad, food collecting leaves, those light collecting leaves, well, it's going to make the whole plant and the root system and everything else suffer. So whether it's blocking some light in the tank for now or not, doesn't matter. I need to really kind of let that plant reestablish itself with some nice, good, broad, light collecting leaves. I can, however, cut back the one that's at the top, and there's a few in there that are looking a little rough. I can get them out of there and just sort of open the tank up generally, and then of course the big water change will remove a lot of the tannins in the tank, and basically that'll brighten the tank up too. So I can't really think anything else I'm going to do while I'm in there. I might wipe the front glass down. That'll all depend. I do have that Farloella in there now, so the glass tends to stay pretty clean. It's doing a really good job. I see it in there quite frequently on the front glass, keeping it scraped clean. So again, we'll see. At any rate, this is your before, and there's your after. So big difference as usual. That Water Sprite really gets thick and dense in this tank. It's an odd plant. I really, I've talked about it before, the way the plant itself grows with these weird sort of misshapen, kind of curly-Q looking fronds. They're real thin and wispy, but the offspring, its little shoots that it produces, are fine and normal broadleaf Water Sprite. So don't forget, I've got plenty of that for sale. I'll show you in a minute how much I got out of there. I'm actually going to take the bucket I have in the other room and dump that out and start over with the fresh batch because I have so much of it now. I'm not possibly going to sell it all. I don't get that many people interested in getting it, so I've got plenty to spare. Again, check my email down in the description if you're interested in any of that. But again, we'll get to that in a minute. The other thing I did was I trimmed up the Red Tiger Lotus, like I said I was going to. I took that long runner out that was at the surface, and I cut a couple of the other larger ones out too, just to open it up some. I wanted to get some light back in the tank, and then of course when you remove all the tannins, it really opens it up and brightens the tank up as well. So one thing I did find that was a little disturbing was my small Moonlight Gourami was sort of on her side at the top of all of the vegetation here, and didn't look good at all. So when I picked her up, she kind of fluttered in my hand, and I let her back into the tank, and she swam around looking normal for a little while. And I checked a bit ago, and she was swimming on her side up near the top, and now I don't see her again. So I'm guessing that she's possibly there she is. You can see her. She's in the Water Sprite up in there. It's hard to make out, but she is in there. And she's upright, at least. She's facing upright with her face near the surface. So I think it's a case of this larger female moonlight has bullied her. They seem to be species specific. She's bullied other moonlights, but not, she doesn't bother the other gouramis that are in there. And, likewise, I've had pearls that bothered other pearl gouramis, but left all the other ones alone. The pearls seem to leave the chocolate gourami alone, and everybody seems to leave. I've got a couple of little honey gouramis in here. So the only ones I've ever had that were just aggressive towards everybody were the opaline or the gold or any of the other three-spot color morphs. They're all fairly aggressive in terms as far as gouramis go. As far as the plants I pulled out of there, let me flip the overhead light on here for a moment. That's what I've got. That's what I took out of the tank. Those are all good, healthy, valid plants. They're actually starting to dry out a little there on the top, but they'll be fine once I throw them back in some water. It's been about an hour since I actually did the water change. We had a dog wander into the yard. It's an old Labrador mix, all muddy and wet. It's probably been playing in the stream across the street. He seems to think he lives here now. But we don't know who he is or where he lives, so we've been kind of occupied by that here in the last hour or so, and that's why I'm just now getting to finishing this video up. So I am going to call that good for this video. Again, don't forget, I got all of that extra water Sprite. Check my email in the description below if you're interested in buying any of that. And I can't think of anything else to discuss, so make sure you're subscribed. Again, you don't want to miss the big reveal of the very noisy new addition to the fish room down here. It's going to be good. You're going to like it. So again, subscribe. Thanks for watching. Don't forget, this one is my 55-gallon Gourami tank. See you real soon in the next one.